Okay. Trying to be respectful for everybody's time. We want to get started at 1 o'clock and get Dennis up here to talk about things. I want to thank you for coming. I am the helper to my wife, who Vicki and Karen are both away. And so because I've had a chance to know Dennis for quite a while and have been to Galapagos and have heard his talks and know how great they are, I don't want to talk a whole lot. You have to get to Dennis. But I was asked to let you know a couple things. This is the final version of this year, of this academic year, for this. However, we have had two things. There are some other classes. There's a flyer out there on the table to take a look at the classes that are still open for registration. And in July, I volunteered to give 4 talks about marine invertebrates. And to give you a thought, I was taught by the people that put together the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And so I am a complete nerd for that stuff. And they've got some great stuff about that. So it'll be on Thursdays at 1 o'clock, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th Thursdays of July. So it'll be the same time, same place. So if you're interested, there's a flyer there, or you can look at the back of the summer catalog for that, for interest. Anyway, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Dennis to tell us about his latest excursion to the Galapagos.
Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? I was told that you get a better grade if you move closer, but as long as you can see the pictures, that'll be fine. One warning, I have not taken all of the pictures for this talk. What we generally do when you go on an excursion is you end up sharing them with some of the people that were on the boat, and if their picture was better than yours, you take it for, and trade with some of yours. And so I've given credit to some of the pictures, but I don't know where a lot of them are from because I didn't keep track of the individual people. So just know I didn't take all the pictures. I took most of them, though. Okay, so this trip was 3 years ago, so my memory isn't quite good. So some of the slides have too many words on them, but that's to just trigger my memory. So let me just go through it, and if anybody has questions, maybe we'll just wait till the end unless it's appropriate to do it in the middle, okay? Okay. So where are the Galapagos Islands? First of all, here's South America, here's Ecuador. And the Galapagos Islands are a part of Ecuador. They're actually a province of Ecuador, and they're about 600 miles off the west coast of Ecuador, about maybe an hour and a half flight from Guayaquil. Let's see. And I know it seems obvious to a lot of people that Ecuador, I always knew Ecuador as a country in South America, but it also means equator. Obviously, because the equator runs basically right through Quito and the northern part of the Galapagos Islands. So a few facts about the Galapagos Islands. 97% of all of them is a national park, and UNESCO has named the surrounding waters a biosphere reserve. There are 19 major islands. About 30,000 residents total live on only 5 of those 19 islands.
Why?
Because it's a national park. And why only 5 of them? Because the other ones are just not inhabited, so they could leave the wildlife to be. Since, as I mentioned, since they're on the equator, the amount of daylight remains the same all year round. The average Galapagos giant tortoise can live for well over a century, the highest longevity of any vertebrate on land. And I'll talk about 2 specific giant tortoises that have a little bit of fame associated with them. Charles Darwin, when he visited the Galapagos Islands in 1835 at the age of 26, conceived the theory of natural selection, mostly working with finches. There's 19 different species and subspecies of finches on the island that he was working on. And there are 800 species of mollusks, and that's snails, octopus, cuttlefish, oysters, and squid, including a recently discovered blue octopus, And over 400 species of fish live in the Galapagos Islands. So here's basically a map. There's the equator that I had talked about. So we flew in from Ecuador this way to Baltra Island, and then we went up this way. So we visited this island, Santa Cruz, Baltra, North Seymour, Iden Inlet, Santa Fe, and San Cristobal, and well, one of my favorites, but I have a story that's not happy, on Espanola Island. So it's the furthest south. This looks like a drunken sailor going from island to island, but it's actually the map of that I just sort of pointed out to you, but it traces the ship's route. And they were all just slightly below the equator. This was actually the ship's map, but that's just redundant. So the way that I structured the talk is to talk in order of the islands or places that we visited. So we started off at Baltra Island, where the airport is, and then we took a bus ride to here. We went to this little islet right there first. Then we went to San Cristobal Island, which is further down here. Then Santa Fe Island, Plaza Sur, or South Plaza Island, Santa Cruz Island, Espanola, Eden Islet, and North Seymour Island. And I'm going to do them in the order that we did, and you'll see that even though the islands are close together, their topography and their landscaping and conditions are a little bit different, which is why different species evolved along the different islands. So the first one, Islote Mosquera, is a small piece of a volcanic uplift between two islands. I showed you that we're very close to shore. It was only 4 miles from where we started the cruise. There's a long and narrow sandbank, so it's beautiful sand, and then there's lava at sort of both ends for the reefs, and it has a lot of sea lions there. We took a Zodiac to the shore. Besides Zodiacs, they don't call them Zodiacs here, they call them Panga, P-A-N-G-A. So if I use either of those terms, we took that to the shore. We saw many sea lions, and we saw blue-footed boobies and Sally Lightfoot crabs. And the walk was easy. It was only a few hundred yards across flat sandy dunes. So here's us approaching the islands. Obviously, I didn't take that picture. That's why I mentioned the pangas. Then this is when we were first approaching the island. And they're the smallest sea lion species. I think they only get to about 5 feet long. There's a couple of them in water. I did not take that picture, for example. Okay. This bird was just fascinating. They were all over the place. They have both a great frigate bird and a magnificent frigate bird, who I guess is just a little better than the great one, but nonetheless. But to me, they look like a pterodactyl, just from ancient times. But the red guller sack is just really the telltale sign, and you'll see on the next slide why. That's the same bird during courtship, and the guller sack during the breeding season can grow to about half the size of the male's body to attract female frigate birds. They're kind of comical looking, but you'll see there are some other ones that are pretty comical also. Okay, then I think we're all familiar with brown pelicans. I don't think they're endemic. I mean, they're not specific to the islands. They just travel. So anyway, but they're kind of fun when they dive into the water and stuff. Then we were lucky for this one. This is a pair of lava gulls, and we just got up close enough to them that I really zoomed in and saw them and took the picture. And then he said, "Oh, you're lucky that you saw them, because there were only 300 to 600 of them left in 2015, and I don't know if that number's gotten better or worse since then. But they are one of the rarest, and they're not the prettiest birds there. But it was nice to see something that I didn't expect to see."
What does endemic mean?
Living there, basically. you know,
Only there?
from-
They only live there?
endemic. Right, they're founds there, basically. So I don't know that if they only live there.
Got it.
These only live there, though, I think.
They just blend into the rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the next island that we went to was San Cristobal Island, and it's the one of the oldest islands of the Galapagos. Mind you, all of these islands are volcanic in nature, just little differences. It has densely vegetated slopes in the south and eroded volcanic peaks in the north. This was where Charles Darwin first stopped, this was quite a busy day. In the morning, before breakfast, we took our pongos to Punta Pit at the eastern end of the island, and we saw both blue and red-footed boobies. I laugh at that bird's name every time. I don't know where it came from, but nonetheless. And in the afternoon, we took a 40-mile drive over the top of the island from Puerto Basquerizo Moreno, and we went to the Galapagera de Cerro Colorado, which is a San Cristobal subspecies of giant tortoise. And within the Galapagera, the tortoises roam around, and it was pouring rain that afternoon. It was raining about 4 inches an hour. So the trails of dirt that we had to walk on were this much water, so it was pretty much mud. And I had bought a brand new pair of Nikes for this trip, and they're totally spoiled because I couldn't try to balance myself on the thing, so I just sloshed through the whole thing. But anyway, but it was fun to see them anyway. I'll show you. And this is, so you can see how kind of dry this is, not much vegetation, but just, beautiful scenery. Of course, I'm too busy with my camera.
Is that you in the green?
Yeah. Okay, this is a blue-footed booby. they're very, very comical-looking birds, and they're clumsy, but they do this little courtship dance, and they're showing off their feet, which are what the female just loves, and they're really funny birds, and they're on several of the islands, but they're good to watch. There's also red-footed boobies and Nazca boobies, so there are 3 different types of boobies on the island.
And look, there we go.
So here's the red-footed booby. Again, they a little bit different, but they have red feet. Yeah, they're really kind of neat. And the blue-footed boobies were kind of on the ground, and the red-footed ones were in trees, kind of hiding. So I think they're a little shyer, maybe. This was San Cristobal has its own subspecies of fire lizard, and this is the male. The color is really, really bright. A small ground finch. I had to put a finch in at least for Darwin. And then this is, I call it lizard camouflage, but this is a female of the same species, but with the color of the rocks. I mean, you could barely see her unless she moves a little bit.
Cool.
Okay, so then I had mentioned that we went to, let's see, is this, yes, okay. We docked in the capital, and then we walked through town to a tour bus and had a 40-minute bus drive to another, the Galapagos Center. And again, it's 15 acres there. We saw about 5 to 10 tortoises, mostly hiding underneath trees because of the rain. We also saw baby tortoises in one series of enclosures and adolescents in a larger enclosure. And when the adolescents are about 5 years old, they get released into reserve with the big guys. So this was the capital, but it's just, it's a bustling little port town. Nothing fancy, lots of souvenir shops and hostels and things like that. So we had what's called a dry landing when we landed there. The difference between dry landing and wet landings are if you go there in a Zodiac, you're going to have to get out in water. So you're getting out in water, so you have to wear shoes that can take it. And a dry landing has a dock. And this little guy was waiting for us on the dock when we got there. And then this is the reserve that I'm talking about now. So there's one of them. Now, mind you, it was really raining, and they were hiding. But they number the tortoises so they know which one is which and how old they are and things. And there's another one.
How old are these?
These probably maybe between 50 and 75. But there'd be some. We went to another place, and there. One that I'm standing in is over 100. Is over 100. But we'll show you. Oh, okay. So I didn't go snorkeling or kayaking. So instead, I went on a glass bottom boat thing. And you can't. If you take pictures from a glass bottom boat, they never come out right. So forget that. But they did. One of the passengers took a snorkeling video. And what I did was sort of freeze framed it and just took some of the things out that he saw, so I could at least present some of the types of ocean life that's there. So there's this one is a chocolate chip sea star or a spiny sea star, and a king angelfish. And these angelfish had schools of them. I mean, it was just really, really amazing when I saw the videos. And then the one on the left is a Pacific Graysby, I guess. And that one I just wrote scary looking fish, but I don't know what it is. I mean, are there any fishermen here that might recognize something, whatever? It just doesn't look like something I want to see.
Is it an eel?
What?
Is that an eel?
An eel?
It looks like an eel.
Oh, it could be. I mean, I really don't know. It just it looks like it probably has teeth. So, oops. And there's a school of fish, but it's just too light, and I can't make out exactly what they are. I know they have rainbow fish and some other things like that, but I'm not sure which one this was. These were yellow-tailed surgeon fish. Okay, so then the next island that we went to is Santa Fe Island. It's a smaller island at only 9.3 square miles with a maximum elevation of 850 feet. It's about 8 miles from Santa Cruz, and it's also one of the older islands. It has old basaltic rocks, and it's probably about 2.7 million years old. There are land iguanas that are endemic to this island. I'll tell you more about the land iguanas, and the land iguanas are frequently seen below these big opuntia or prickly pear cactus trees, basically, which they eat also. So let's see. This was a wet landing. That's what I was talking about. You just flip your legs over the boat and hope for the best. Try not to land on a sea lion. And there's just sea lions. They don't care. They're not affected that much by people because they only allow about groups of 10 to 12 per hour per island. It's all controlled, so everything. That you'll never have a lot of people there. It's never going to be too crowded for the wildlife. Yeah, they're just what a life. I mean, it's. So there's some of these trees. I mean, they do get big, and the iguanas love the cactus. And actually, I've had that cactus in with eggs also. It's not too bad. So. Then there was a cactus finch, I think, unless it's a ground finch, they're similar. And then the San Cristobal has its own mockingbird. So that was kind of interesting. And this is a land iguana. It's called Barrington land iguana, but each of the islands has a Spanish name and then an Old English name, I think, when the British were involved. So Barrington used to be the name of, or a co-name of Santa Fe Island. So it's specific for there. And then again, this was snorkeling off Santa Fe Island this time. I didn't go again. I did the same thing. There was a spotted eagle ray that someone saw, and then the Galapagos green sea turtle, not tortoise, that lives in the water. Two more fish. Now, I don't know if that fish isn't the same one that the last one was underneath the rock. Was it the scary looking one? I don't know. Because that one's a puffer fish, so I don't think so.
No, it's different mouth on it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And triggerfish, fine-scaled triggerfish.
So a lot of these fish and animals are not found anywhere else, right?
Correct.
Just here.
Yeah, yeah. And then South Plaza Island is really small. It's 1/20th of a square mile. Its maximum elevation is only 75 feet. And again, we saw the white sandy beaches with the black lava rocks, frigate birds, swallowtail gulls, and sea otters gliding on the breeze. South Plaza is very small, but it has not only the prickly pears, but it has a lot of sesuvium, which is ice plant. I think people know what ice plant is, and it's a kind of a succulent, and that's also good food for them. And then above the sea cliffs, there were red-billed tropic birds, and I'll show you a picture because we saw plenty of them, but no one was able to get a picture of them. They're just hard to catch because they have this very, very long white tail streamers that come out. So to catch the whole bird in the picture, when you've got the tail is a big thing. But I did download a picture of it, so I'll show you. So these were the cliffs, and it was just really pretty. And that's the ice plant growing in on the island. Just another picture. This is one of them, and it's just whenever you take a picture of it, you only get part of the bird. So somebody managed to get this picture, and I don't know who it was, but I just found it this morning, so I thought I'd put it in. It's really a striking bird. So, oh, and then when we got off the boat and we got on a dock, there was just a little bunch of rocks, and I'm walking around, and I thought, okay, I saw the pair, but then that little guy poked his head out, and then he eventually came out, and he's one of the babies, and it's a swallow-tailed gull family. Okay, so then now I wanted to talk about the difference between the land and the marine iguanas on the island. So the marine iguana is where it says sea, obviously, and the land iguana is there. You could see that they're similar, but yet they're different as well. The marine iguana also has, if you notice, has really long claws. So the marine iguana can actually, if it needed to, climb the trees and get to the cactus fruit, whereas the land iguanas basically eat it when it falls on the ground. So, but I'll go into the more differences between the two. So, in the land iguana, for instance, lives in dry lowlands and volcanic landscapes. The marine iguana lives in the cold, nutrient-rich waters with seaweed, which it also eats. The land iguanas are bigger. They're 3 to 6 feet long. The marine iguanas are 2 to 3 feet long. The skin, obviously, of the land iguanas is going to be thick and dry, and the marine one is thin and kind of oily. The limbs are short, stout legs for the land iguanas and paddle-like flippers for the marine iguana, but just because of where they are. Coloration, the marine iguanas are just black or dark gray. The land iguanas can be yellow, orange, or black. The diet of the land iguanas is basically cactus, the fruit, leaves, and flowers. And the marine iguanas are omnivorous. They eat green and red algae, seaweed, sea urchins, and small fish. The land iguanas tend to be solitary and active in warm climates. The marine iguanas tend to stay on lava rocks, but males will wade into the strong waves to feed, and females and the babies stay closer to the shore. And then finally, the lifespan of the land iguanas is 40 years, and the marine iguanas only live for 10 years. So there's several differences. This is a marine iguana. So as you can see, it's pretty much just black, and it's crawling up a almost grayish. Well, it's almost camouflaged itself because it's just that color. Okay, then what happened was there was a severe El Nino season in 1997, and the temperatures caused the failure of the seaweed beds around the islands, and about half of the marine iguanas starved to death. So what happened was they searched inland for plants to eat, and they mated with the land iguanas. So they produced an unusual number of hybrid iguanas. As of 2003, 20 of them had been found, and 4 were known to be alive as of 2013. Usually they don't. Usually they wouldn't mate with each other, but I think it's the male marine iguana that will mate with the female land iguana, and not the other way around. Okay, so let's see. So here are 2 pictures that I managed to find on the internet of hybrid iguanas, which is sort of a cross, well, not a sort of, a cross between the marine and the other one. The one there taken in 2018, and then this one taken in 2019.
So where would they hang out? Like probably in the water and land?
They look more suited to land to me, so I would think maybe on land, but yeah, who knows? That's a good question. And I don't even know if there are any left, so we'll see. But I heard that we're having another bad El Nino this coming year, so let's see what happens.
Do you happen to know the lifespan of the hybrid iguana?
No, I don't. That's a good question, though. I really don't.
Probably a little longer than 10 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, one would think, but on the other hand, it might be less because it's really sort of mixing a whole bunch of genes together that you never know, so it's hard.
Sometimes it's strong.
Okay, so then the next island we went to was Santa Cruz Island. This is a bigger island. It's 381 square miles. It's another lava. A volcanic island. So in the morning, we visited the Charles Darwin Research Station, where there's over 200 scientists and volunteers working to conserve wildlife on the Galapagos. We saw breeding enclosures with tortoises from at least 3 other islands. And the 3 other islands, I went to Española, but not to Floriana and Santiago. But they had little babies in each of the cages from each of the islands. And if you look at just the pattern of their I think it's called a carapace, the shell of the tortoise, I'm sorry. If you look at the little designs on there, they're slightly different from each island. So because they were just, inbreeding on that island. So what they were doing was they were trying to raise them to release them on the islands. And I just saw a press release from them that they released 183 of the ones from Floriana Island back into the wild. So obviously, the breeding programs are working there. And so while we were there, they had one exhibit of Lonesome George, or Orge Solitario, I think. And he was the last remaining Pinta tortoise. Pinta is one of the smaller islands in the Galapagos. And I'll talk a little bit more about him. Then after that, we saw trapiche being used. This was in a place where people were, obviously. It's a sugarcane grinder that extracts juice, which is then either drunk straight away or fermented into a flammable liquor, which was very good. It was also 40% alcohol. So they called it aguardiente, or firewater. And then just to get there, a lot of people rented bicycles to go up the hill. Not me, I took the bus and and got there and wasn't all sweaty when I got there. So anyway, after we saw that, we went to the highlands, so up, and the climate was completely different. It was lots of green foliage, and it was cooler, and they had lots of the bigger tortoises lumbering around, wallowing in pools, eating grass, and there was also a couple of small lava tubes on the property. So this is the Charles Darwin Research Station. And okay, this was Lonesome George, and he was first seen on the island of Pinta in 1971. The vegetation had been devastated by feral goats, and his population was reduced to just him. So that's why he was called Lonesome George. So he was relocated to the center, so that where he ended up spending his life. It was hoped that Pinta Island tortoises would either be found either on the island or in one of the zoos, maybe, that didn't know that they had one, or that had one but didn't realize it was also the last one. Unfortunately, no one ever found any, and George ended up dying, I forget, maybe 3 years ago, and they taxidermied him and have him at the at the thing, which is kind of weird because I wasn't sure. I thought it was just a sculpture at first, but then when I went home, I thought, no, they said it was taxidermy, and I'm like, oh, okay. Poor little George. Well, these are the little guys. I mean, and they're even some of them were even smaller than that. But when I was talking about the patterning on them, I was talking about the shape of the different things. Some more little babies. Okay, and this was the trapiche. So what you do is you feed sugarcane in here. One person pushes this way, one person pushes that way, so that spins that around. That pulls this through, which then drips the liquid down into there, and then they could boil that or ferment that and make the fire water. And just to show you, after they had made it, he threw a shot into the fireplace or into the thing. He just threw just one shot at it. I know, it was amazing. I thought, wow, I just drank that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so then we went to the La Reserva, El Chato. And as I mentioned, the climate was different, and these are where they really wander around. And these are the older ones. So there, I'm in front of that one who's just about 100 years old, I think, between 95 and 105, so say 100. And that was just really neat. To me, that's sort of like the picture that I thought of for Galapagos. I wanted to take a picture with one of the tortoises. And they're just really big, and they're incredible, really, when you see them up close. And they just like to hang out in pools too. And then we just walked around. We had boots on and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of nice. You just like walking in somebody's backyard, but there's all of these big tortoises on it. Yeah, okay. And just in case anybody doesn't think that I'll manage to find a monarch butterfly, if you know my history, there's this female that the ship's photographer actually caught on the island. I missed it, but she's been around a bit. I think she's probably, I don't know whether or not she's laying eggs or whether or not it's the end of the season or what, but you know. No, well, it might be, but I don't know that species. So, yeah, but it was just really interesting. Okay, so then Espanola Island. A very nice island, but I'll tell you a little story later. 23 square miles. It's the most southernmost island in the archipelago. And because of its isolation, there's a lot of unusual wildlife. Like the Espanola mockingbird, the racer snake, the Espanola lava lizard, the waved albatross, and the island's brightly colored marine iguanas. I wouldn't say brightly colored. And again, it's a very old island. Almost the entire world's population of waved albatrosses breeds here between April and January. And we saw all three of the different boobies that I had mentioned before. And and the Espanola lava lizard, which I think they also call the Christmas iguana, rather, because of its red and green color. I'll show you a picture. Okay. In 2020, there was a rare tortoise who had sired over 900 children. His name was Diego, and he was between 105 and 110 years old at that time. He was on loan from the San Diego Zoo and may have almost single-handedly saved his subspecies from extinction. Because of his remarkable efforts, he now lives in retirement on Espanola with his extended family. He weighs 180 pounds and is expected to live to be around 150 years old. And that's a photo of him in 2019. I like feel-good stories like that. So this is us when we first got there. I'm not in the picture. Okay, that's one of the... that has to be I don't know. Gosh. Okay, there we...
Temperatures, 90s?
What's that?
Temperatures.
On Espanola Island that day, it was 107. Yes, which is, we'll get to it. God. So this is the third type of boobies that are there, Nazca boobies, and we got to see them on the island also. This is the Christmas marine iguana because of the red color. This is a Galapagos dove, but I think she's wet and being blown about. They usually are a lot smoother than that, but it was a good picture of where she was. So. Oh, and I mentioned the wave albatross, and they were just starting to get there. Remember, this was April, so that's the beginning of their breeding season. So there's a couple of them sitting there and among the rocks, and they live to be about 40 to 45 years old, and they have a wingspan of 8 feet. They're very big. And this is a closer view of one of them. But we were lucky to at least see one pair of them. I guess, probably during the summer, there's probably tons of them there. Then, I don't know if people have seen blowholes like in Hawaii or other places, but the ocean rushes in below the lava bedrock and then eventually just thunderously ejects through a fissure, almost up to about 80 feet. Okay, so then there's an abrupt end. Because I passed out from heat stroke when we were on the island, I brought water with me. I had water, but it was electrolytes, and I didn't realize it, so I went down like a rock. I mean, it was so fast and sudden, I felt dizzy, and I went down. They had to carry me off the island on a stretcher, but they had the ship doctor come out to just bring me electrolytes, and that kind of helped. But for that night and the next day, I was still just jittery, and my legs really hurt and stuff. But and I was apologizing to the entire crew because I'm not the lightest person who was there for them to carry. But it was a beautiful island, but that was an experience I won't forget. But thanks to the crew and the doctor, everything worked out just fine. And it was scary, but I thought, if I have to go somewhere, this is as good a place as any. It's beautiful. Okay, so then Eden Islet is the smallest place we went. It's 1/100th of a square mile, or just 2,000 square feet. 233 feet. It's a cliff, and it's another volcanic cone. It's just off the coast of Santa Cruz Island. Lots of things there, including Sally Lightfoot crabs. I loved those the little crabs. I'll show you. They're very picturesque. And despite its small size, Eden has 3 different landscapes. So I mean, one is flat and barren and dry, and in the middle there's this cliff.
So that's like hardly bigger than this room.
What's that? Yeah, not not very much. I know. I mean, here it is. Somebody said it looks like a horse or something like that, but you can see all the crabs around it. And then we were taking more pictures of the. We went around there as well. But here's the. There was a huge colony of these Sally Lightfoot crabs, and when they're babies, they're just little black ones, and then they sort of go through that kind of phase. But they're just it's beautiful. I mean, they're really really pretty. I think they're only about maybe 3 to 5 inches, about 5 inches maybe. That's just us going around the edge of it. And there's part of the cliff with booby. Oh, well, yeah, a blue-footed booby and another booby. A heron. That was taken from very far away, so it's a little out of focus, but I zoomed in as best I could. And then I think North Seymour Island is probably the last one that we went to, and it's again, it's mostly flat. I didn't go on this one because this was the next morning after my thing, so I just took a few pictures of some of the trees that were on the island because they have silver gray Palo Santo trees, which I think they make incense from. I mean, not from the trees in the Galapagos, but from when they're growing in other places. And they don't have leaves and remain dormant for half of the year, and then when it rains, they burst into bloom. So I had one picture that I had taken. Yeah, I took that picture just from the boat, but I had really zoomed in to get there just to see the trees. But someone took a better picture. I think it was a different time of the year also when they were mostly bare. Okay, so I'll just end with this. This is the Galapagos Big 15, which I refer to as a cheeky take on Africa's Big 5. Bill and Vicky would appreciate that. And so there were 15, and we saw 11 out of the 15. And the reason that we didn't see 3 of the 4 were because they're not on the islands that we visited. So this way you could book a separate cruise, so you can go to the Western Galapagos but anyway, because we didn't see 4 of them, I just wanted to show you what they look like anyway. So this is a flightless cormorant, and yeah, it's an interesting little bird. Looks like a person. Penguins. They have penguins there, Galapagos penguins, and that was neat. That penguin's got his eyes on that little Sally Lightfoot there. And American flamingo. I think if you go to the San Diego Zoo, they have them as well, so I've seen them, but not in their native area. And the Galapagos hawk, which the ship photographer saw, but I didn't see. So, but it's really a stunning looking bird. So, well, thanks. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
So what color are the Nazca boobies' feet? You got red.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, I couldn't get close enough, and even in the picture that I took, it cut them off.
Yeah,
I think they're gray. I think they're gray.
That's
Yeah.
what I was guessing, but
Okay. Yeah, I think, but I'm not absolutely sure. Okay. Oh,
So I'm guessing that you can only go, well, that you can't do an independent trip there.
no, no. You have to be accompanied by someone who's sanctioned by the park, and you have to have a pass and all. You wonder why they do it, but when you realize that it's for the protection of the animals that are there, and it makes sense though. Yeah.
Question.
Anybody? Yeah.
The hybrid iguana, can it reproduce or is it sterile because
I assume they're sterile, just because they're different species. I'm pretty sure they are. Okay.
How much does a trip like that cost?
Oh God.
Well, that was a specialized ship, though.
Yeah, this is the same company when I went to Greenland and did an expedition there. I was there for 3 weeks. but it was the same company, but this was a much smaller ship. So the ship held 90 people, and there were only 26 of us on it. So we basically had run of the ship, and that was kind of nice. I really can't remember the cost. I want to say something like, well, somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. But this trip, I also went to Quito and Guayaquil and mainland Ecuador also. So yeah, I mean that's about what they charge. The name of the company is Hurtigruten, Hurtigruten. Okay. Anybody else? Hey,
Yes, Dennis.
how you doing?
Gordon Clay.
Good. Yeah.
I was there in '96,
Oh, okay.
and luckily before the storm, I guess on '97, I didn't realize that. And when I was there, it was very depressing because of the goats. And I know the government paid hunters to come in
Right.
and try to eliminate it, but they can't because Galapagos is really mountain goat country, and so the goats just go up in the mountains.
Yeah, I didn't see any goats when I was there, but that doesn't mean that they're not there.
Well,
You know.
the problem that was happening then is the goats were eating all the vegetation.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was nothing, no green
Yeah.
anywhere.
Well, it only takes one introduced species to sort of destroy an ecosystem because everything is, interconnected. So, yeah.
And then an interesting thing about the frigate is that they live with the boobies, but they are up on a different level. They put their nest up about 3
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Okay.
They are very excellent flyers, but they're lousy fishermen. So what they do is they wait for the buoys to get the fish, and then they come in the dock.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did read something about that. Yeah.
So it was depressing because of the situation for the turtles,
Right. Right.
but it was magical. Now I've got a question, or my question is, what island is Galapagos? Or is it a number of different islands? Because I only knew it as one island.
There is no island named Galapagos out of the 19. It's just referred to as the Galapagos Islands. They used to be called Islas Encantadas, Enchanted Islands, I think. And but I don't know of any island that's named Galapagos. I'm thinking Galapagos might actually be. It might be a Spanish name or slang for the shell of the turtle that it might have been named after, but I haven't looked that up. So yeah.
Thank you. This
Good.
is a nice
Oh, no problem.
impression.
Thank you, Gordon. Thanks.
Yeah, I think Galapagos meant the giant tortoise rather. And what we did, we went with the National Geographic people.
Oh, okay.
And we watched for sales. My daughter watched for sales, and it was
Oh.
30% off.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't find anybody to room with me, so I called. Do you have a room for 3? The third person was 50% off the sale price. So I mean,
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and when you travel solo, there's a solo supplement put on it also. Right. Yeah.
It's really expensive. So
Right.
it's really
Sometimes, though, they do run some trips or some dates of the trip will be no solo supplement. So if you have a schedule that could adjust to that, you could save yourself probably $1,000 to $2,000 that way.
So I roomed with my daughters, and they made me sleep on the couch.
How rude.
I was the shortest. That's fine.
Anyone else? Any more questions? Yes.
I just want to ask, how long did it take for you to put this together? Because it was fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Well, it took longer than I wanted it to, only because I spent 10% of the time on the talk, but then I get suddenly I see something that's more interesting, and so I then start researching that to try to be able to answer some of these questions. So it took a long time though, but it was fun. I got to relive it. It was 3 years ago, so and I got to share it with all of you. So that's great.
How large the first talk that you gave us was like, how many pictures did you have to take out?
Oh, I think I took 1,600 pictures, and I think I ended up showing maybe 60 of them. So yeah, no, you take a lot of pictures. Even the ship's photographer who I spoke to was really good. He was saying, you know, how you should really frame things and try to make sure you have a little of this in and that. And it's like, but he has a natural eye for it. And I'm, you know, I do. If I see something that looks nice, I'll take a picture. But a lot of times it doesn't come out the way you thought it looked.
So
So
we'll have another talk with the other.
no, no.
But you take so many.
What? Just because then I go back to my cabin and go delete for 19 out of 20 of them. Everybody's like, God, you're good. Okay, well, Gordon.
I do have one more thing.
Sure.
I swam with one of the turtles.
Oh, great.
And it is amazing because it was swimming at a depth just out of reach for me. And it's just, you know, and I try to dive down a little bit lower, but the sea salt and all, you know, keeps me up. And I go down, it didn't move. But it was like I could get within a foot of it.
Yeah.
And that's all. It knew
Yeah, it's amazing.
how deep we could go.
Right. Oh, fun.
You're smart.